I'm back with a brand new DC update, and we actually have a lot to talk about today. So I'm going to get right into some of these stories that are circulating around the internet. The first one I want to talk about is DC Super Pets. This is a movie that's going to be released in 2022, is fully computer animated, and they dropped the first trailer this week, and it was announced that John Krasinski was going to be playing Superman. And you saw some media outlets try to use that as a way to say Henry Cavill was gone. So they used it as clickbait. But I actually watched the trailer. I'll leave a link to the trailer in the description. Didn't really do a whole lot for me. I was actually looking forward to it when I heard the voice cast, but after seeing the trailer, it's definitely geared towards very small kids, and I don't know how well it's going to do. Some people were talking about how this isn't what people are asking for. There were comments on some of the boards, which I thought was kind of funny. But they have to appease the younger crowd as well. I think the SnyderVerse is something that the adults want, and we will be talking about that today. We also had J.K. Simmons come out today, and he was shocked that they actually asked him to come back and be Commissioner Gordon for the Batgirl movie. So he's very excited to have a larger amount of screen time for that film. So he's very excited to explore that character a whole lot more in that upcoming Batgirl movie. So that's pretty exciting. That tells you that the SnyderVerse is very alive. If they weren't going to, continue with that whole universe, you would think that J.K. Simmons would not have come back for that movie, but they actually asked him to come back. We also had Henry Cavill out there talking about the future of Superman and how he still wants to come back and do Man of Steel 2. And I talked a little bit about this in my last update. And he is really campaigning to come back. He wants to see the good side of Superman. He talked about the turnabout and how he's going to end up going bad and then come back to being the Superman we've all wanted, and to explore that happy-go-lucky type character in the future. So he is still very much in the role of Superman. He is not giving that up. And with him now starting to talk about this, I really do think things are happening behind the scenes. Because that leads me to the fourth story that I want to talk about, which is the SnyderVerse. The SnyderVerse, I believe, is alive and kicking. There was more proof of this. I talked about how you had Zack Snyder come out last week, and he did that social media post on Vero with the clipboard, and it had the Justice League symbol on it, and nobody knew what that actually meant. Well, there has actually been a new picture released, and it wasn't by him, but somebody released a storyboard of Darkseid and Darkseid on this picture, and a lot of people are posting the hashtag on there of "Let It Begin." And so I really think that by Zack Snyder doing this, we got Henry Cavill talking about Superman, that there are discussions going on with Discovery, and they know what they're going to do once this merger hits, and they're kind of priming people for that. We had Jared Leto come out last week, and he's calling for the release of Air Suicide Squad on streaming platforms. So there are definitely a lot of things that are moving behind the scenes that we don't get to see, and Warner Brothers is not going to talk about because they're just a terrible studio. Which is going to lead me to the last story that I want to talk about today, which is The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson. This has been actually test screened several different times. I think they talked about doing a third test screening already, and the movie is coming in at about 2 hours and 45 minutes are the rumors, which is great. I'm all for that. And if those rumors are true, they have also talked about there being problems with the third act, which is interesting. Usually the third act is the best. They're talking about this one having some problems. And we're going to see how the studio tinkers with this. This is going to be very telling because this movie is all done under Warner Brothers. This is not part of the Discovery merger. And we're going to see how this movie ends up because Warner Brothers cannot keep their fingers off of the movies that these filmmakers are making, and they tend to screw things up. And I have a feeling that the Batman, they're going to do the same thing with that. So if it comes in at 2 hours or 2:05 or 2:15, we already know stuff is going to have been cut, will have been cut from the movie, and that's just Warner Brothers' way. And hopefully we would see the full movie at some point in the future. But nothing is going to get better until that Discovery merger that is going to happen here next year, which I'm very much looking forward to. So there's lots of little rumblings going on out there in the SnyderVerse, out there on the web. Lots of things are happening behind the scenes, and I think we are going to have a bright future. Now, I could be totally wrong. Maybe we get to the end of this, the Discovery merger happens, and then they just give all the fans the middle finger. We don't know. But everything leads me to believe that, yes, things are going to end up in the favor of the fans once that hits. All right, what have you guys heard out there? Please, if you haven't already, subscribe, like this video, hit that notification bell. You will be notified as I have new videos go up. If anything big happens, I'll do another video, but if not, I will see you guys here next week.